What's going on, everybody? Alex back with another cryptocurrency video, and I got a special guest, a super special OG cryptocurrency veteran here, Ian Belina. Go ahead and introduce yourself, Ian.
Yeah, I'm Ian Belina, crypto investor, founder and CEO of Token Metrics, which is a cryptocurrency investment research company. We help retail traders and investors to make money in crypto using data analytics and machine learning. My background comes from IBM Watson Analytics. I was there for 4 years. So I love working with data. Background is also as a computer engineer. And I've been in crypto since 2016 as an investor. Then in 2017, gave up my nice cushy job at IBM to go all into crypto because I felt this was the biggest innovation since the internet itself. So I went all in and have been investing in the crypto space since then. Made almost 100 investments, also from the firm to make investments worldwide, 100x advisors. Made 15 investments in 15 different countries back in 2018, even a few equity investments as well. But I mean, I think crypto is the future, and being able to be on the ground floor and help people through education, through analysis, through becoming better investors and traders, I think that's the way to really give people financial inclusion and economic empowerment.
Yes, sir. So I've been watching your Instagram. I noticed you moved to Austin, Texas, and I noticed a lot of people are moving to Austin, Texas. So, like, give us the advantages of jumping over there, in that part of the United
Yeah,
States.
I mean, the real reason was actually the last bull run. Because when I quit my job at IBM to go all into crypto, investing is everything. And when I came back and I saw my tax return, I said, I paid how much to the state of Maryland? I basically paid them in state taxes somebody's annual income. And I said, I'm traveling the world, going to these conferences. I'm barely at home. Let me minimize my tax footprint. So I looked at Florida, looked at Austin, but when I came to Austin here, one of our equity investors in Token Metrics was hosting us. And the community here, the quality is high, right? So we pulled up, he had a crypto dinner he put together in less than 24 hours. And the people who came there were basically VCs. One guy was a VC who was running the ecosystem fund for Polkadot. So the
Mm.
quality, the caliber of people there was unlike anything I'd seen before in the US. And to me, it just made the most sense. I like big cities. Austin is kind of hipster in a way, but super tech friendly, plus huge crypto community. It made sense.
Yeah, so like I've always said that the only two places I'll probably live is like Texas or because of the tax purposes or Florida. So I stayed here because
Yeah.
this is where I'm from. But yeah, I could definitely see myself in maybe a year or so moving to Austin, Texas. And I see not only crypto, but just in general, a lot of people have been moving over there for that reason. So definitely plus up, you're adaptable. I like it. So a question, since you're doing
Hmm.
machine learning, and I've,
Yeah.
I've used your platform, by the way, and it's phenomenal. Has made me so much money just to give you guys a heads up. And I've talked about it on the channel before. But I want to, kind of pick your brain because you are the man and you know way more than I do. And with my limited knowledge, I have kind of this perception of artificial intelligence. So why don't you update my audience and everybody that's going on, what you see, like what do you see in artificial intelligence that might not be known to the common person?
I mean, this the space is just evolving and getting smarter and smarter, even to a point where in the future AI might even merge with humans. Right? There's Elon Musk with Neuralink, where they're trying to implant computers into the human brain and have it kind of control and help people who have maybe immobility control their body movements. But
Mhm.
machine learning is growing exponentially, and I think outside of blockchain and crypto, this is the other biggest trend in technology. So for me, it made sense to kind of combine the two biggest trends, having my background at IBM Watson and seeing how powerful that was, seeing how people, because at IBM, I was basically a engineer who would take AI and
Mhm.
help people who are not non-technical people leverage the power of AI. So line of business from salespeople to finance to IT, helping them leverage AI in their business. And now we're trying to take the same thing and apply it towards crypto. And our goal is really to do. Have you seen Westworld, the movie?
No, I
Well,
haven't.
I
What
mean
is it?
the show on HBO. So
Oh no, I
it's basically this sci-fi western where these people build this AI that kind of takes over the world, right?
haven't. Ooh,
And
interesting.
in the way we think that's what's going to happen to with the future, right?
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it does scare some people, but I think eventually the world is going to be run by AI. Everything will have AI in it because artificial intelligence, machine learning can handle so many more data points than the average human can, right? So the average human can probably handle 150 data points, for example, right? But
Mhm.
AI can look at thousands, millions, billions of data points and find that tiny speck of sand, that hidden insight, those hidden patterns, and get meaning from that. And with that said, I mean, how can you really be against it? I mean, I do get how some people will say maybe, you know what, AI will eventually uh, conquer man. That I don't think is going to happen because humans are still creating the AI and they can kind of program it. If that does happen, I mean, that would suck. But to me, I think AI is man's best friend.
It's a tool, just like every other technological tool. It's used to enhance humans. I think there's always a give take thing, with every new, that's why everything in life. And I think with AI personally, the way I look at it, it's definitely a positive benefit. And I can see you using it to your advantage. So that's good. So coming back to your platform, because I know a lot of people are going to be asking these questions. So you use prediction models and machine learning to kind of like
Yeah.
predict like shorter and long-term time frames on some coins and stuff like that, and use fundamental analysis, technical analysis, and all that good stuff. Um, the question I have, because again, I have limited knowledge, but
Mm.
from what I've been reading, the biggest variable with the accuracy of machine learning, and correct me if I'm wrong again, is data consumption, right? How much data you're consuming and the quality of data. Am I correct?
Yes. Yeah. So
So go ahead.
go ahead.
You got it.
Yeah. I mean, so the main issue is gathering data. So our platform, in a way, is inspired by Jim Simons, who's probably the most successful hedge fund manager of all time with the Medallion Fund and Renaissance
Renaissance
Technologies,
technologies. Yep.
right? And he basically took the same approach, used machine learning and data to gather as many data points as possible with his teams of mathematicians and scientists, and then they try to use those insights to do high frequency trading. So we're doing something similar, except we're taking those insights in the crypto space and trying to apply it towards both, I would say, long-term investing, but also short-term trading. But for us, we're kind of taking more of a VC approach, trying to find those long-term projects that will do well, right? For example, recently like Elrond or Firm Network or Terra, being able to capture those trends early based on purely on data. And the challenge is data, especially in crypto. While crypto is financially open, there are lots of data providers and lots of data is open source. Even with the next version of Token Metrics, we're working on getting even more data, trying to 10x the amount of data we have, but then trying to automate it and give it structure to a point where our AI can then get insights from it that help people make money.
Okay. So, kind of piggybacking, you don't have to answer this if you don't want to, but I myself, am making a website and stuff like that for more of like management of crypto, like kind of like a block folio. So the
Yeah.
biggest problem we're having, excuse the slack, by the way, but the biggest problem we're having is like with the sources of data. So, do you like pull it from like 1,000 different sources and then consolidate it, or how's it like?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's been the challenge. We actually had to hire two big data engineers to come in and help us with that because we thought we were just dealing with the AI ML problem and crypto problem, but it's also a big data problem as well. So because with us, some of the data we need is in different places. For example, one of the things we're working on is being able to run automated code reviews and audits on cryptocurrency projects. So just getting that data, we have to go through and download repositories on GitHub from different projects into our database, then format it correctly, then have our basically have this new software library go through and basically do automated code audits, then run metrics on that, then put that into a different database and have our machine learning learn from that, and then analyze that versus the cryptocurrency prices and connect the dots. Right, so it's definitely a big data problem, but we're getting data from different places, from CoinMarketCap, CoinGecko, GitHub. We're also working on sentiment analysis, being able to get data from Twitter. We actually have bots now going into Telegram groups and actually doing sentiment analysis
Smart.
on the messages and trying to see if we can use that to get alpha from trading and investing. So anything that has data for cryptocurrency, we'll add it to our system. Like our goal is to eventually get over 1,000 data points. Right now, with the current version of Token Metrics, we have probably about 200. With 2.0, we want to get to over 1,000. We're also adding on-chain data from DeFi, from lending, from Bitcoin blockchain, from different other quant providers. So our goal is to gather as much data as possible, whether it's 1,000, whether it's 1,000,000 data points, have the AI go through, find out what actually matters the most, and then build grades off of that. Then use that to predict prices. Then also use that to build model portfolios.
Nice. Okay. So your platform is going to appreciate with time, like Bitcoin, huh?
Yeah, that's the plan, right? It's kind of like fine wine.
Yeah, it gets better and better. So, okay, so are you pulling any data from decentralized platforms at all?
Yeah,
Like
I mean,
Chainlink?
not Chainlink, but because Chainlink is running on Ethereum, so we're getting all the Ethereum on-chain data. Right now, it's not live, but with the next version that's coming out this year, we'll have on-chain data. So being able
Okay.
to capture data from where funds are flowing on the blockchain, what's happening with Chainlink, what ERC20 tokens have actual activity, right? We think
Mhm.
all that data will help with being able to predict the price of where a crypto will go.
Okay. And then do you take in consideration like macroeconomics? Do you take in consider is it just crypto based or are you looking at other
No,
things?
good question. So we're also getting in financial data. So we have a different data provider. We're pulling in data from equities, from from the stock market, from futures contracts, indices, even real estate data, trying to see if that has any factor. Global economic data, macroeconomic data. So anything with data that's in capital markets, our models will ingest it. Right now, we're trying to do this for crypto, but
Mhm.
we think this can be applied into any capital market.
Nice. Okay. All right. That's enough with that data talk. I like it. I like the answers. You're going in the right direction, in my personal opinion. So,
Thank you.
just to throw it at you, just to throw it at you, because I know that that's what the people want. You don't have to answer it specifically, but what's your Ethereum prediction at the end? And then we can talk about Bitcoin prediction. Or we can talk about Bitcoin first because it's probably more relevant. At the end of the cycle, if you were to just guess time frames and price, and obviously none of
Oh,
this is
wow.
set in stone. It's
Yeah.
not set in stone, and it's probably going to change tomorrow. But if
Yeah.
you were to throw a number up, what you
At the
got?
end of the cycle,
Yeah.
I mean, just based on some projections our team of analysts have been running internally, I think Bitcoin is going to go over 100K. I would say probably 100 to 150K is probably the range, probably the peak. But I do think once Bitcoin corrects, I think it's probably going to come back down to maybe 40, 45K. Oh, no, sorry. I would say 45, 50K because historically, after every halving, Bitcoin's the bull run lasts longer, but the ROI is lower, right?
Mm,
So
mm,
as a
mm.
result of that, I don't think the ROI is going to be as high as in the past bull run. But it is crypto; anything can change. But that's kind of my projection for in terms of Ethereum. Um, I'm looking at probably the peak, maybe 4 or 5K for
Yeah.
Ether.
I said the
But
same thing.
I mean, I would love 10K Ethereum. I mean, if Ether goes to 10K, I mean, I'm out. I
Yeah.
mean,
Okay.
but that's kind of like moon boy ish. I think a more realistic projection would be 4 to 5K. But I'm more bullish on Ethereum over Bitcoin. Quite frankly, I have no Bitcoin. I think Ethereum is the best thing since Bitcoin. Bitcoin had first mover advantage,
Hmm.
but I think Ethereum is the future, right? Because
Okay.
Ethereum has 10x more monthly active developers than Bitcoin,
Yeah. Yeah. No.
right?
Okay. 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 Let's get into the subject.
People,
So,
yeah,
your
people are
Ethereum maximum.
building. Yeah, I mean, I would say I'm a Ethereum. Yeah, pretty much I only deal with Ethereum. I only have one other cryptocurrency that's not Ethereum. That's Helium Network. But Ethereum is the future because Bitcoin just had first mover advantage. But developers, they're all building on Ethereum. Ethereum
Mm-hmm,
has the network effects to a point
mm-hmm,
where there are 10 times more active developers each month building on Ethereum than Bitcoin. So I think
mm-hmm,
eventually it's going to catch up.
mm-hmm.
My joke is that I think eventually, in the next 5 to 10 years, Ethereum will eat Bitcoin, and Bitcoin will become just a token on the Ethereum blockchain. It will just be just like wrapped Bitcoin or Ren BTC.
I
Because
like it. I
anything,
was going to ask you that. I was going to ask. So you think they're going to flip? You think it's going to be all
oh yeah,
Ethereum? Okay.
absolutely. I mean, because Bitcoin is now just a store of value, and the
Mm,
way I view it is the store of value use case, basically digital gold. Gold has, let's say, $11 trillion market cap, but Ethereum is building the next internet, right? Web
mm, mm,
three.
mm-hmm,
So, because if we go back, Web one was basically the dot com era. You had Google, Yahoo, Amazon, eBay. Web two was social media. You had
mm.
Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, LinkedIn, right? Web three, decentralized applications. For the most part, Ethereum is dominating that right now,
Yeah.
right? So, and if we go to DeFi and Wall Street, the derivatives market estimates to be over $500 trillion, maybe quadrillion dollars.
Mm-hmm,
If all
mm-hmm,
that gets tokenized, it's not going to Bitcoin. It's going
mm.
into DeFi onto Ethereum blockchain.
That makes
Maybe
sense.
Polkadot and Cardano catch up, but even that market to me, just purely DeFi, just Wall Street, if Wall Street gets tokenized, that's bigger than the store of value use case. Then you add on the next internet with all these stores with store of value, transfer of value, applications, NFTs. All this is happening on Ethereum. So
Mm,
Bitcoin was first, it was early, great technology, but I mean, developers are not building on Bitcoin, and the innovation is just not happening. Plus, they also have issues with governance. It takes them forever just to change the block size, and they have to
mm,
have
mm.
all this all these debates and hard forks just to change the block size. So with me, I think Ethereum is the future. It might take time, but long term, I think definitely by 2030, Ethereum will be number one in my opinion.
Okay, by market cap. By market
Yeah,
cap.
market
Okay.
cap.
Now the question I have, okay, so I mean, everything you said made 100% sense. And I actually agree with you on the vast majority of what you said. Now, the question I have is that right now, obviously the biggest problem with money is the median of exchange, right? And the control of the supply. So what's your thoughts on the inflation of Ethereum in comparison to Bitcoin's kind of just standard of guaranteed, we know exactly what's going to happen. What do you see in that
Well,
aspect?
good question, right? So coming this summer with the Ethereum improvement proposal,
Hmm.
EIP 1559,
Hmm.
Ethereum will become deflationary, right? So
Mm, yeah,
Ethereum
because
will
they're
actually
burning.
become, yeah, they'll be burning Ether at a higher clip than how much Ether they mint.
Mm,
So Ethereum will become even more scarce than Bitcoin.
mm.
And that makes me even super more bullish on Ether and Ethereum.
Okay, and then also taking consideration what you said before, you related it to gold, but there's other commodities. Have you taken those into consideration when it comes to eating up market cap of like traditional finance?
Not really. I've just kind of been comparing Bitcoin to digital gold, but
Mm-hmm.
I think that that is possible as well in terms of precious metals and other commodities. But to me, Ethereum is, I view Ethereum as the internet. So I ask people, do you want to invest in gold or the
Okay.
next internet? Right? And that
Yeah.
kind of makes it pretty straightforward.
Yeah, I'm on the same boat as you. So great. So you kind of answered some of the questions I was going to ask you, anyways, about the flippening, and what you're most bullish on. Now, let me bring another thing to your table. So obviously, you have the network effects on Ethereum. They're dominating pretty much every layer one. Oh wait, really quickly, I almost forgot. You threw a gem at us for a second there, and we
Yeah.
didn't talk. Well, you threw a gem at us. What was that coin you were talking about?
Helium Network.
Helium. Okay, okay, okay. Yeah, I've
Yeah.
heard you talk about that so much, and they're doing a decentralized internet thing. And I was gonna buy it, but they were sold out in
Yeah,
my
that's sold
area.
out.
Yeah.
I mean, it's definitely been one of the better investments because I discovered them back in 2018, actually during I would say probably during the bear market, because I flew to their offices in San Francisco,
Hmm.
and I said these guys are the future, right? And I got in pretty early. For those who don't know, they're basically building a decentralized internet for IoT devices. But I think what the real power is, once they solve that, they can then apply this to all kinds of internet devices, right? Even
Hmm.
laptops and computers. So they have partnerships with Nestle, with Lime scooters. So when those Lime scooters want to go online, as opposed to paying a phone carrier, telecom carrier like Verizon, AT&T, they can
Mm.
pay people who have hotspots, and they get paid to share their Wi-Fi with those devices. They get paid in crypto, right? So
Wow.
to me, it was a no-brainer. It's very easy. It's plug and play. There's a mobile application, and they've been building their network. At this point, they have over 20,000 hotspots worldwide in America and Europe, and they're launching in Asia this year, I believe.
Wow.
So plus Coinbase is also looking at them for a possible listing. So to me, this is just gonna go up. I've seen that financial advice, but I'm
Yeah.
very bullish
Yeah.
on this. I doubled down and bought some more last week as well.
Wow.
What I regret though, I wish I bought more when it launched on exchanges because it launched on a crappy exchange. I was just mining it and I had a chance to buy it at like 15 cents, 20 cents, but I was kind of slow. I bought it at 20. I bought some more at 25. Then I had buy orders at 20 and 15, hoping it would come back to pull back, but it just kept on going. Uh,
Yeah.
I, and now it's at over $7, so it's done like over a 50x already. But it's been pretty stable during corrections, which is kind of the mindset I have. Because right now, what I learned from the last bull run, you can make a 10x, 100x even,
Hmm.
but most of those projects will end up crashing because
Hmm.
even Bitcoin and Ethereum crashes. But the real projects are the ones that bounce back, and those projects end up doing 1,000x. So now I'm looking for the 1,000x returns because I was a private sale investor in Chainlink and synthetics, and what I've learned is the good projects, yes, they crash, but they bounce back. So
Hmm.
kind of having that long-term mindset and trying to see what projects will bounce back after a bear market, after a 2 year bear market. And I think Helium is one of those projects because if everything crashes, they still have their network. They
Hmm.
have
Hmm.
over 20,000 people with nodes. That's why, and there's no Ethereum pair. All the trading pairs are pegged to stablecoin, right?
Ooh.
So during crashes, it's pretty stable.
Yeah.
Because right now the device cost me $500 to buy about 2 years ago, but
Mhm.
I'm making about last month I made $1,500 just mining it.
Wow.
Right? So people, if you're in a big city, you can
Yeah.
recoup your investment in the first month. I mean, probably 3x that. So it's kind of like mining Bitcoin back in 2013, 2014.
Yeah. Interesting. So the internet currently works. Like I can pay for a data plan and get some internet from Helium right now if I wanted to.
Yeah, I mean, so I just hooked this up to my Wi-Fi, and then it
Wow.
shares that with the antenna. So it comes with this small antenna, but
Hmm.
I changed it and I bought that big ass antenna in the back. So that was the rewards you get.
Yeah. Okay. Nice. And then so the revenue model is obviously for people paying for subscriptions. Right now, it's probably just the mining. But then eventually it'll be like people paying for subscriptions, and you get access to this decentralized
No,
internet.
I mean, so people are actually paying for it now, right? So
Uh huh.
companies like Lime Scooters, like those scooters in the city,
Uh
right?
huh.
Because they
Yeah.
have to go online to be able to kind of send their location. So they have a partnership with Helium where they can use the hotspots in the city to connect
Hmm.
and go online, and then they pay in crypto,
Oh, that's interesting.
and people who are mining it earn that crypto.
That's cool. That's really cool. So the only two coins you're holding right now are Helium and Ethereum.
No. I mean, I also have Matic, Polygon. I've been bullish on that. We discovered them back in India, actually, at our Crypto World Tour event
Oh, okay.
back in 2018.
Uh-huh.
I just wish I bought more back then.
Yeah, yeah.
But that one's been doing pretty well. That's my second largest holding. Bought some more as well 2 weeks ago once they pivoted to being interoperability for Ethereum because I'm bullish on Ethereum and that just made total sense. And I felt they were very undervalued. And now they've done pretty well. And now with a Coinbase listing.
Mm,
Outside of that, I have a few other projects, more low cap, like there's a Perpetual Protocol. That one's
mm.
pretty good. They're basically DeFi exchange for derivatives. Um, also have Armor. That one I'm very, very bullish on.
I got some.
Uh, yeah, there's been a large correction on it, but they just launched what's called Smart Cover. You basically log into the app, it will scan your wallet, see what you're holding, and let you buy insurance on your entire wallet,
That's crazy.
right?
That's very
For
interesting.
DeFi, I think that's pretty big. Plus, the way they do it is it's kind of like AWS. As opposed to paying upfront, you're basically buying credits, and you only pay for what you use. So very very innovative model, and I think that one's very bullish on that. I have Uni. I've been bullish on that from day one. Haven't
Me
sold,
too. Yeah,
right?
me too. I got my airdrop, bought more.
Yeah, I wish I bought more when it came out. Yeah, that 1H exchange, I would say those are the main ones.
Okay. And now, okay, so big question. I was kind of talking about it earlier, and then we derailed back to the gems because that's the only thing people want. But basically, so we have Polkadot, we have Cardano, and they're obviously going the interoperable route. And then we have the Binance chain that's kind of just recently jumped up. Excuse
Mhm.
my chat. But so you don't see a situation where they're all kind of working together. What's your thoughts on that? Do you think Ethereum is just going to dominate everything, or do you think it's going to be like a just connection, with the Polkadot ecosystem and all of them working together?
Yeah, I mean, I think Ethereum will have. I think I think Ethereum will win out initially after it overtakes Bitcoin, but I am
Mhm.
bullish on Polkadot as well. I just think Polkadot is early. Right now, Polkadot is just pure hype. It's pure hype beast. It's going through the cycle Ethereum went through in 2017, right? So
Mm.
where ICOs were raising money with just a white paper, right? Polkadot hasn't really gone live yet, so all these Polkadot projects, these IDOs, they can't really launch. That's why they're all pivoting to just doing IDOs because they can't really launch. But I am bullish on the technology. I think it has a bright future. Same thing with Cardano. I think Cardano does have a bright future, but the space is getting competitive. There are lots of great projects, but if I had to pick a runner up to Ethereum, I would pick Polkadot.
Oh yeah, okay. You're right. You're on the same boat as me. Is it
Yeah.
because of the Kusama, kind of like leading the way, and they have like two lives type of scenario, or because it's the team, or what are you thinking? Why Polkadot versus Cardano?
Well, I mean, just so our blockchain engineers just gave a better code review score to Polkadot over Cardano, right? So
Okay.
they think the technology is just a lot more better, more innovative, better documented. But one other project that's actually coming out that we like more than Cardano and we
Mm,
think is going to be undervalued is Casper Labs.
Casper.
So
Let me write this
yeah,
down.
they're doing an a token sale on CoinList, and it's already the most oversubscribed token sale on CoinList ever, more so than Solana, than Flow. And we met the team back in 2019 at a Consensus. Then also met the team again in Osaka, Japan at Ethereum DevCon. And actually, I regret I didn't invest back then, but because they're talking to us at the bottom of the bear market, and liquidity was the most important thing. But the team
Yeah.
in the last 1 year has just made so much progress that now this is one of the most highly rated projects our engineers have rated outside of Ethereum and Polkadot and Bitcoin. So I
Interesting.
mean, I'm not saying it's going to surpass Ethereum per se, but they are building a proof of stake blockchain. The team is a great team, great code, great everything. The challenge will be they're building a public chain, so whether they can get the community on board. But I think when it comes out, it has the potential to be the next Cardano because it's basically at the same level. Their mainnet is launching at the end of this month. But we think the technology is slightly better, at least our blockchain engineer says, and we think it's going to be more undervalued compared to Cardano.
Okay, interesting. I like it. So I was watching a little bit of your live streams, and I think you have the same kind of thought process as me with NFTs, where it's just like the actual art itself has kind of no exit liquidity, and then we probably want to jump into the winning projects when it comes to revenue streams. So just to pick your brain, and maybe you don't have an answer to this question because it's so new, or maybe you do, but basically, is there like a fundamental variable you look for? The revenue stream, of course, but like is it because of the adoption and the quality of the art or something, or the artist?
For
Like what?
NFTs,
Yeah.
honestly, no. I view NFTs as pure speculation.
Yeah.
Not right. People can make money on them, but I view them as trading, or just gambling, right?
Yeah.
So I think what I tell people is I wouldn't put more than I'll put less than 1% of my portfolio into NFTs,
Mm,
right? So
mm.
treat it almost as a trade, almost as a lottery ticket. I mean, maybe there's a system, but I think that's more of a subjective thing, right? Maybe if you like art or music, it's kind of like trying to be a hype beast. You have to find like maybe find somebody who has a trending audience growth, right? And kind of use
Yeah.
that to maybe predict, okay, this artist is up and coming. I think in 1 month, 3 months, he'll be hot, right? So I think
Yeah.
that's kind of what NFTs are. The way I view it is, it's kind of like with any gold rush or bull market, you want to you can always make money by being the person who basically sells the wheelbarrows and spades and shovels,
And
right? So,
pickaxes. Yeah.
right, and access, right? So I'm thinking invest in the infrastructure. That's why I'm
Mm.
very, very bullish on Flow, which is a blockchain that does NBA Top Shot, which is the most popular NFT and yeah, NFT dApp out there right now, right?
I
And
like
right
it because
now,
we both came to the same conclusion. I did my research, and yesterday
yeah,
just was talking about flow. So I like it. Go ahead.
yeah,
I'm sorry.
yeah. I mean, because I think that's the best way to get exposure to NFTs while being fundamentally safe, right? And kind of having risk management. Because at the end of the day, that blockchain I think is going to do well. Great team, and what they're doing with the NBA, I'm pretty sure
Mm.
other leagues are calling, right? NFL, MLB, NHL, maybe even NCAA. Who knows, right?
When you
Right.
think about collectibles, I mean, that's what you think about. You think about mostly sports cards. And then obviously they're hot right now in general. And then another thing with Flow is the crypto kitties from like 2007. They got the OG effect there, right? So
Yeah.
yeah, personally, I'm on the same boat as you when it comes to that. Probably, but I would invest in the Flow token, not like actual art.
Yeah.
But that's definitely a thing. So yeah, I mean, the NFT thing I feel like it's an easy answer. Let's talk about something that was a little bit harder. So for example, you're talking about Ethereum, talking about Polkadot, and how they might be intertwined, and Ethereum's most likely going to win. Um, Binance Chain, is it just completely out of the picture for you? Are you looking to make some quick
Uh,
money in a short term because it has a working product? What's your thoughts on that?
I mean, Binance is a beast. I mean, CZ, BNB is a
He doesn't
beast,
stop. He doesn't stop.
right? Yeah, they don't stop. So you definitely don't want to ever rule them out. I think they will have a space, and then they'll carve out their own niche of being a centralized blockchain for people who want low gas fees, right? That's why they were kind of the talk of town last month. They were going through that, being that sexy new blockchain or sexy new place to go for people who didn't want to pay the high gas fees on Ethereum, right?
Mm,
So I
mm,
think they'll
mm,
always have that space. But once a more decentralized blockchain arrives that has low gas fees, whether
mhm,
it's Ethereum or Polkadot or Cardano or Casper Labs,
mhm.
Binance has to actually innovate. And right now, people have just been forking projects and adding smart chain on it and trying to launch them, right? Great to make money short term, but once the music stops, I don't think it's really going to be something long term. I think Binance will have to have more innovation, but Binance does have the cash flow to really innovate and pay people to come and innovate on their platform. So never rule Binance out.
Yeah, 100%. I think it's like a very easy short term. Why don't you explain to them? I mean, in your own terms, I've explained it on my channel, but maybe you can kind of dabble a little bit deeper about like the proof of authority, like, and explain why the, the centralization is there and how the consensus mechanism works and everything like that.
Yeah, so I view POA almost as kind of having like Congress. You basically nominate people to be nodes, all right? And these people are basically representing everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Now, let's say it's 20 people, I think like 22 with Icon, or 50 people, or 100 people. That's
Mm-hmm.
not really something that's owned by the community. Ethereum, on the other hand, has over 8,000 nodes, right? So meaning that more people are able to have input into the consensus of the blockchain. So for something to really be owned by the community, you have to have something that's really widely shared and spread out. So something that, if it's only a small group of people that are internal to the company, because I had a call with the Binance Smart Chain team back in 2019 when they had just launched, and they were trying to recruit projects we're working with to come build on their chain. And we asked them who's running the nodes, and they didn't want to tell us, right? And the joke was all the nodes are inside Binance, right?
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
the,
yeah.
right. And I think now it's probably more open, but I think that the Binance still owns a large amount of the nodes, right? Which is why I don't think it's really something developers who want to build immutable apps want to build. They want something where it's really owned by the community and not centralized.
Yes, sir. Okay, so let's kind of finalize with the final questions I usually talk and ask people with these type of podcast interviews. So we're kind of for the people now. Let's see. Let's kind of put ourselves in the shoes of maybe a early investor or a person that's jumping in now that might not have too much capital. So let's say it was you. You had $1,000 to your name, um, assuming that $1,000 to invest in crypto, right? And your bills are okay, and you don't know anything. Like you're just complete new booty, new
Newbie.
nothing,
Okay.
nothing. Okay.
Yeah.
What's your 3 steps to success?
Yeah. I mean, actually, these are the same steps I followed myself. Anytime I enter any new field, first thing I do, I go into Amazon and I find the best 2 books in that niche. All right. So in crypto, back in 2017, I just typed in cryptocurrency investing or crypto. And the best books at that time were Digital Gold and The Age of Cryptocurrency. Right. So basically, education is the first step. Get the right education, whether it's through Amazon, through Fundamental Secrets, through YouTube or whatever. Get the best education you can. Then the next thing to do, take action. Like honestly, lots of people hesitate. But when I heard about crypto, I went on to Coinbase that same day and bought some Bitcoin and Ether. It was only $100. I only put in what I was willing to lose. But I feel like having skin in the game really has you think differently, right? There's actually a book on that by Nassim Taleb called Skin in the Game. When you have skin in the game, you begin to notice things you normally wouldn't notice. You begin to pay more attention, right? So I wouldn't spend 3 months just researching it. I would first get some crypto, even a small amount, $10, $100, and then research. Because now your research is different because now you actually have Bitcoin. You've gone through the process and just learning from experience, iterating, right? I'm not afraid of failure, right? I'm willing to swing for a home run and fail and learn from it because to me, failure does not exist if you learn from it, right? Every failure is a stepping stone to success. And so basically, I would get the best books in that niche in crypto. At this point, it's probably changed. Take action, just execute, and learn from your execution, right? Iterate from taking action and keep on evolving, right? That's basically evolution. That's what I would do. Now, in terms of actually investing in the space, if I had like $1,000 to invest in crypto, I mean, I would tell myself, this is how much I'm willing to lose, right? And then I would diversify that. So when I got in, right now I tell our audience, let's say you have 1 grand or whatever, find those low cap coins, those low cap gems, because that's where the big returns are, right? You're basically trying to build your portfolio. For me, I'm more conservative because I've already built up my portfolio. But if I'm early, I am going to swing for those home runs. But I want to make sure that I don't strike out. Or if I do, I can still keep on swinging, right? So right now, honestly, I would be playing the FOMO game, right? Whether it's those starter ideas, whether everything just does 10x, 30x, whether it's Binance Smart Chain, I wouldn't really be honestly on Ethereum because of the gas fees, right? So, but if I had to pick one thing to go all in on, it would honestly be probably Helium, right? Because I'll probably buy 2 devices, right, for $500. Put one in my place, put one maybe in my parents' place, just mine
Cash
that,
flow.
right? Get cash flow, right? Because if I can flip 1 grand to 3 grand in a month or two, then I can use that to then reinvest into crypto, right? So
Okay.
I would do that, or I would probably do Polkadot projects.
Okay. I like it. Now, flipping the script, other side of the story, you know nothing about crypto, but you have some type of successful business and you have $1 million to spare. What are you doing?
I'm joining tokenomics.
Hey,
Right?
tokenomics combined with fundamental speakers. That's
Yeah,
what you do.
yeah, right. Good combo, right? I
Yeah.
mean, at that point, honestly, I would be looking to network and find people who have done it before,
Yeah.
right? Right. So whether it's going to conferences, yeah, I would say probably going to conference. Go to a conference and find people who have had success and are going where you're trying to go, right? And because with me, when I joined crypto, I went to my first conference in 2017, and I hopped on a flight from DC to New York, and I said, because prior to that, I was like, should I spend $500 to buy this ticket? Because like, I can put that into crypto,
Crypto. Yeah.
right? I spent a week thinking about it. I was like, you know what? I'm sure it's going to be a good investment.
Yeah.
I went there. That conference changed my life.
Wow.
Because before I was doing crypto with my friends on Telegram, and these were friends I knew from DC.
Hmm.
But this was my first time meeting people actually in crypto who were successful and weren't weird, right? I met crypto millionaires for the first time, and
Yeah.
I spoke
Yeah.
to all of them, taking them out for dinner. One guy took him out for dinner, and he told me he made his money. He was a trader, but he made the most money through ICOs. And back then, I didn't really know what ICOs were, but he kind of put me onto the ICO game.
Mm.
Then I went to the Saya Coin happy hour, and there was this guy my age, young guy in a suit from LA, and I asked him, "Hey, how'd you get into crypto?" He told me he got into crypto back in 2015. He invested in the Ethereum ICO. He bought Ether at 30 cents, and when he
Wow.
got in, he told me he thought he was late. Right? He was like, "Man, this crypto ship has already sailed." Because I was telling him I'm late. I'm late to crypto. I just got into crypto 2016, 2017. I'm late. He's like, "No, you're right on time." Because I got into this at 2015 thinking I was late.
Mm.
Got Ether at 30 cents, and now he's running a crypto hedge fund, right? So
Wow.
meeting
Wow.
people like this and networking with them, having drinks with them over dinner or whatever, and staying in touch with them. Actually, this guy I met back in 2017, he's now moving to Austin from LA,
Wow. Wow.
right?
Okay.
So like
Connections.
connections, right? So I would say at that level, with that large amount of portfolio, I would just get in the right circles, right? So going to conferences, meetups, because all these people who are at a level where you're trying to get to, um, it's almost, they all kind of work better in person, right? I
Mm.
would say like the best deal flow I've had in crypto has been from going to meet people in person. That's why in 2018 we were in Asia with KuCoin, and I flew back to the US to San Francisco just to meet with Helium in their
Wow.
backyard, right?
Wow.
So actually that same weekend I went to Helium's offices downtown. Then I went and had barbecue with Harmony and the team
Wow.
in San Fran, and that's why we did the world tour, like meeting people in person. Like the best deal flow comes from meeting in person. So I would say at that level, if you have over $1 million, yes, you can invest behind your computer, but the best deals, like Casper Labs, we met them at a 2019 consensus, and also met them at a DevCon in Osaka, Japan. And
Wow.
back then in Osaka, Japan, they were begging for money, honestly,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? But now that they're on CoinList, now it's hard to get in,
Exactly.
right?
Yeah.
Right. So I would say I would just kind of invest in meeting people in person and building that network, because your network is your net worth.
Mm, mm, mm. I love it. That's probably what I would do too as well. So morning routine. Do you have one? What's your do you, like a quick rundown? What's your morning routine?
Honestly, I don't really have a morning routine. I just wake up, get ready, then
Go for it.
go for it, hop on the computer. I have a nighttime routine.
Yeah. Okay.
Basically, depending on how busy I've had that day, how busy of a day it's been, I like to just unwind. Usually just Netflix, or actually no. First, I watch YouTube videos. Right. I always like to kind of keep up to date with what other people on YouTube and crypto are doing. So I watch your videos. I watch other people like Ben Cohen and others. Just kind of doing my own research on kind of what people like and what people are researching and talking about.
Hmm.
Then I watch Netflix or a show while having a nice glass of whiskey or drink or wine.
Hmm.
Right.
Hmm.
Then just kind of unwind. Just kind of trying to like de-stress.
Yeah. So you can have a productive day the next day. I do the same
Yeah.
thing. So what's your, and you could answer them both in one, but what's your worst time in business? Like the worst time you ever had, like the moment where you're about to give up, like kind of like the hero's journey. And then tell me about the time where you realized, and like, in the movie when it goes slow and everything's like
Yeah.
changing for you and your whole financial situation is great. If you can give us kind of like the hot and the cold.
The hot and
um
the cold.
yeah, give me the
Yeah.
hot.
Okay. I mean, I would say the hot was actually before crypto. So when I finished grad school, back in 2012, I went to GW, George Washington in DC.
Mm,
I literally went from being broke to making six figures overnight. All right.
yeah.
And once that happened, that's kind of when the whole concept of the made man came from. It's kind of
Mm,
like in the mafia. It's like once you become made, you finally get it. And it wasn't until that happened that I realized why it was so hard to kind of go through grad school, right? Because I was a computer engineer major. So that stuff was not easy at all. I was grinding. Sometimes I'm like, why am I doing this? Right. But once I got to the end of the tunnel, right, I can see, oh, this is why it was worth it. This is why I was grinding, right? Because now I'm living that good life, right? Now I'm pulling up in a nice Benz at 24, right? Not having to care about money, right?
mhm.
That's why all those all that blood, sweat, and tears was worth it, right? So now I kind of became a made man. Then another hero journey was honestly back in when we launched Token Metrics, November 2019. We literally were building the website and the platform, and I just come back from Malta blockchain conference, right? Because we're at that time trying to do our seed equity round to investors, and I
Mhm.
was like, you know what? I told our development team we have 2 weeks of runway. We're launching this month no matter what.
Yeah,
Right?
I get it.
I was like, yes, we're not ready, but just put beta on it, and let's
Never ready.
launch,
You're
right?
never. Yeah.
And we went from basically having 2 weeks of runway left to in the first 1 year hitting 2 million annual recurring revenue.
Wow.
And then in the last like 3 4 months now we just crossed 4 million annual recurring revenue, right?
Wow.
And now we're growing 50% month over month, and we
Wow.
just finished our equity seed round last year, right? And now we're cash flow positive to a point we're growing so much we have issues hiring, right? We're hiring people every single week month, but we're just trying to keep up, right? And to go
Good.
from 2 weeks of basically about to die to
Yeah.
now it's like we're cash flow positive. We have so much money and we have to hire more people, right? It's
Yeah.
pretty crazy, right? But sometimes you have to just kind of just go all in and just kind of aim for the moon and beyond.
Yeah. Put your back against the wall, go all in, and make it
Yeah.
work. Make it work.
Yeah, I
All
mean,
right.
because what people don't really know is, right? I made money in crypto, but I even building token metrics, I put in 2 million of my own money, right?
Yeah.
I even moved back into my parents' place, and just to save money, right? Because
Yeah.
every money I had, I was putting it into hiring engineers, analysts, and trying to build up the team, right? And it was pretty crazy because here I was successful with money, but just focused on just this vision as a maniac. But
Yeah.
now it's basically panned out.
Yeah. I love it. I love it. Yeah. I was in a similar situation. I mean, I feel like everybody that has any type of success
Yeah,
is going
every
through this,
entrepreneur.
like same exact thing, about to give up, maybe living with your parents or going completely broke, don't know if you're going to pay rent. And then eventually I was the same situation with me. I made like I think my first month of launching Fundamental Secrets, like 40 grand in the first month by myself. And it's just like, it was like
Yeah,
overnight, 0 to 6
yeah,
figures, kind of the same thing you did. So that's great, man. I like to encourage my subscribers to, take the path of entrepreneurship because, investing and cash flow are the two most important variables in my personal opinion. And you don't find too much cash flow, at least if you have small amounts of money in cryptocurrency. So last question, final one, and we'll conclude this here. And I think it's going to be the most juicy one.
okay.
What advice do you have for me?
For you, oh man, okay. Well, I think I kind of told you. I would say just get out there in the circles, right? Because you're big on YouTube, right? But you have to be kind of big. Crypto is kind of like a Illuminati in a way,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Right. So I would say just go to. Right now it's kind of tough because of COVID. Actually, I'm thinking of coming to Miami. There's that Bitcoin conference in July, right? Michael
Yeah.
Saylor, Jack Dorsey, and a few other Bitcoin crypto people are speaking there. So I'm actually thinking of flying out my entire U.S. team to come down there
I'm
for that.
coming. I'm see you
Yeah,
there. I'll see you
yeah.
there.
So I would say just kind of meet the people behind the scenes, right? Meet the people pulling the strings behind the scenes, right?
Mhm.
Right?
Mhm.
Because what you're doing, you're blowing up, right? Like you're about to cross 100K subs. So I would
Mhm.
say just yeah, just meet the people behind the scenes, right? So go to conferences, network with them, right? Have drinks with them, right? Kind of like my story of the guy I met from that Silicon meetup who had a crypto fund. back in 2017 who was in the ICO of Ethereum. Meet people like that because they have the connections, the deal flow, and that's how you kind of elevate your net worth is through your network.
Mm-hmm. Okay, that I think that's honestly swallowing, the pill I don't want to swallow because I'm cool over here in my fun house, and I need to get
Yeah.
out of it and go. And I think you're completely correct. And I honestly, after this interview, I'm just gonna shift immediately and adapt, and I'm going to go to conferences and take your advice literally. So I
Yeah.
appreciate it. Thank you, Ian. You've been a mentor to me. So let's kind of conclude this with what I always say: if you like the quality of this content, hit like. If you don't, leave some constructive criticism. Subscribe for more video updates. And like I always say, do you know it? Do you know it, Ian? He
What?
doesn't know it. If you don't get with it, you will get left behind. Catch you guys in the next
All
video.
right. Thank you.